Welcome back, everybody. It is the GLEC Great Lakes Esports Conference LAN Finals day number 1, and we've got ourselves a little bit of a treat here. For starters, my name's Error. I'm joined
by El Tiburon.
And we've got you Rocket League Grand Finals. These were expected to be happening tomorrow, but due to some, I think it's some scheduling conflicts and some things coming up, it will be being played right now. We're going to be having Shawnee State, the number 1 seed, taking on your number 3 seed Indiana Tech as we take a look at this bracket. Both teams obviously dropping a map, getting here, so it has not been scot-free, but they've made it here, they've clawed their way, and now it is time to prove that they belong.
Yeah, and with these teams, looking at Shawnee State, they had to play against a Indiana Wesleyan team who faced off Game 7, so right down the middle, we're either playing hot or we're just mentally drained, whichever way you want to look at it. Indiana Wesleyan took a game, but Shawnee State still won it out. And then same thing with Mount Union. You were on the call with that one. Mount Union versus Cleveland State was a barn burner.
It really was. It was a Game 7 that realistically you could view as a reverse sweep, depending on how you want to look at it. Each team splitting the first game, then Cleveland State getting those next 2, but then failing to convert. Mount Union being able to close it out over the series of those next 3 games.
Yeah, and then going up against Shawnee State, still able to take 1, but not able to take any more. So Shawnee State getting a little bit bruised, and not like battered, but a little bit of bruised to head into Grands, being as predicted the 1 seed. Now looking at the other side, Xavier, Indiana Tech, who beat St. Xavier, and St. Xavier, they were playing really well. They had a little bit of question marks, at least in my opinion. I was on the call for the St. Xavier Ohio Northern, where they gave up 2 leads in Game 1 and in Game 5. And no, Game 1 and Game 5. Just like gave up a lead, and Ohio Northern was able to force overtime and then win in overtime. But Indiana was able to close it out. So now we have Indiana Tech versus Shawnee State.
Yeah, and they're going to be taking this into game number 1. And now the important thing for this, as we get right into it, Miller and Chip already applying some pressure, having to drop back off as Shawnee State takes back that control. This game is not just for GLEC Conference champions. This is a qualifier to the CECC May Madness, one of the biggest set of collegiate esports, like one of the biggest collegiate esports tournaments that exists. It's a true culmination of who's who, and to show that you are, the best around,
one of the guys,
especially a representative of the Great Lakes region. You got to take this set, and already we're seeing Shawnee State having a very stout offense. After that early little bit, as I say that Indiana Tech chip, potentially driving down the side, making me look a bit foolish, combination play there, nothing able to be found. But Shawnee State, they're able to pile that pressure instantly back on, but Louis wrestles some control, sent back by Duckworth. Chip up in the air, able to get the control, potentially sends it back down. Duckworth able to take it before any of his players do, as Miller gets that first kill, and that might spark a little bit of offense coming here from Indiana Tech.
Yeah, but somebody that I'm definitely expecting to perform well, the newly crowned MVP of GLEC, Taco Stash for Shawnee State, really going to have to turn up for this one, and that is going to be a deep goal by Slayer. Doing a little bit of pose for the camera too. Yeah,
combining with Taco Slash, able to take out one of the players as Slayer gets that shot up high, able to bring it into the net, giving Shawnee State this early lead in Game 1. But again, it's a best of 7, and we're not that far in, only a minute 15 into the first game as we get to the second kickoff.
Oh yeah, this just barely started. But Duckworth with the tip, with the 50-50, going to be in the corner, but Bluey, like one thing that I have seen that is going to be a crucial thing, bumps while you're in the air, because usually you have to worry about bumps while you're driving, but when you're flying, some lower tier teams won't challenge you up there, but as the competition gets stiffer, there will be more challenges, and you have to work for those opportunities for those air dribbles more and more often, as we've been seeing.
Yeah, air pressure is super important coming into these games, and I think the biggest thing that we're seeing right now is mainly that Shawnee State, although Indiana Tech is able to get some stuff, Shawnee State has a great idea of not only hitting it mid-air, but also keeping that control. They've been able to kill that momentum and then work it into one of their next players. It's not just one-off hits. It's consistent, concise, and, truly all-together gameplay. But it is going to be a drive down the side. Duckworth going to be last man down and around. Taco Stash able to take it, but he is going to get taken down by Bluey.
Yeah, and Slayer trying to be right behind, but yeah, just got demoed, but guess who's back?
say it's big man Taco Stash. Slayer now taking it into the corner, gonna bounce it a little bit around. Duckworth gonna be taking it straight out, trying to apply a little bit more pressure, pops it up, but nobody is there. Not enough boost for any player to really truly contest it, at least not the positioning with the boost combined. But Bluey is going to try to take it. Duckworth sending it over into the middle. Slayer is going to be able to shoot it. It's going to be a little bit too high. Miller able to take the connection and now might be able to roll something out, but it's not going to be enough. Taco Stash with a little bit of a connection sends it back into the goal, giving Shawnee State a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, just this stout offense, not giving up over and over again. And as great as defense Indiana Tech has been, they've been showing cracks because they are not able to get it on the offensive yet, which has really been biting them.
Yeah, one of the main things that I'm surprised that we haven't seen quite yet is Indiana Tech almost is able to make that is overcommits from Indiana Tech. Their offense has been great, but they have not been really too far up. The main thing is just Shawnee State has been able to slide it through right when it matters, and Slayer getting the mid-side pinch, going up into the top. Duckworth with a little bit of control, but Miller able to bring it back, sends it up to Chip. One ball wonders, trying to bring it down, but will not get it into goal. Brings it into the corner, but Taco Stash is right there. Sends it to Slayer. Slayer with a little bit of a loss of control, but Duckworth up on the high, sends it back down. Slayer just too low, no connection.
It was a fake, trust, watch this.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It's Taco Stash there, but Miller with the block.
I like the idea from Taco, but getting it right over threes, you just barrel stuff it into them, I don't think is going to be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, but that one looks like it might, and it goes in by Duckworth.
Ooh, Duckworth, I was going to say, just getting it right under where he needed to, had just enough boost to get up and bonk it right below Bluey into that corner pocket.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just the hit, like you said, the angle, hitting it on the front left tire just to get that bump to go down instead of up was a huge determinant of that one.
Yeah, Duckworth looks like he messed up that little bit of kickoff, but it really does not look like it's going to matter. It's going to go back into the side of Shawnee State, but Slayer is right here in that corner, killing the momentum, but letting Taco start to take that control, start to get things rolling.
Yeah, that was actually really good of just like, hey, I don't have any boost, I'm passing it off to you, you're right behind me. And that just shows like just the communication that this team has. But that was a great win on the 1v1, now trying to get off the wall, but great defense overall by Shawnee on that play.
Yeah, Chip getting this ball control is actually super pivotal. We just saw Miller take down one, well, I was gonna say, we just saw a trade of players. Some people going down the explosions, really trading back and forth. It could have signaled one of the teams to really go aggressive, but honestly, nobody back in goal. Chip still able to stall it out, but Taco Stash, he's up top. He's going to get that double, but nobody's going to be there to convert off of Shawnee's pressure. Bluey is going to be able to get the control, but sends it straight into Duckworth as he sends it up high. Chip now for the long drive. Bluey able to stall, but Taco Stash in that defense, stout as you will be. Miller into the corner. Slayer gets a little bit of control, but Miller wrestles it back, sending it over into Bluey. With 10 seconds left, I think it's fair to call this game done and dusted. It really, I was going to say, like, Shawnee State, they've applied the pressure. Taco Stash getting it through in the center, and that's just, I mean, that's game one right there.
Yeah, just dealing with literally the whole team, going over one, going through two, and straight in for the three.
Yeah. Up and over, around, in between the legs, however you want to call it. It's Taco Stash putting it into the goal, and that, I was going to say, time's going to tick down, 3 seconds left, but I don't think Shawnee can get, or Indiana Tech can really get anything started, and that's Shawnee State taking game number one.
Yeah, and Shawnee State, just Taco Stash doing so much on that one, especially on the defensive side, that we see those 2 saves and being efficient, only 3 shots, and 2 of them were goal, which just really shows just like a lot of his gameplay has just been discipline, just waiting, trying to see the right opportunities, not going off of every single time he could see. He's just like, he just waits, and I think it's really been paying off. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about all of this is when you look at that offensive counts, both the shots and the goals, well, the shots and the saves, completely even. The main difference was literally just how Shawnee State applied their pressure. Indiana Tech obviously still applying a lot of it, but if it's just not there, it's just, well, if it's just not placed properly, it's just not there. And the main thing with it, again, going forward, because we've, called a fair amount of Rocket League. Again, it's been a minute, but, we got a good amount of it beforehand. And like a lot of these games, a lot of it comes down to how you apply your pressure. Because just slamming the ball at the goal is not going to do it. You need to place it precisely. And that's what we've seen Shawnee State do so far.
That's not going to work in GLEC of just like hitting it as hard as you can until it goes in, because these cars can fly.
I was going to say, these guys know what they are doing. They know how to keep control, not only on the ground, but in the air. And as we get into game number 2, I think the main thing we're going to need to see from Indiana Tech is a little bit of an improvement in that air mobility. how they are going to control this play, not only from the ground, but also from the skies.
Yeah, and then there's a lot that Indiana Tech that can work with, but there's a lot that they could take away from. Great demo while still keeping the momentum. Like, he demoed without having to move himself out of the play, and Taco Stash with another one, but Bluey with the one-person defense able to clutch that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Taco Stash is able to apply a lot of pressure while still keeping, you know, a lot of his positioning, something that, you know, really would get you MVP, especially in a league like this with so many great players. But Slayer up top is going to stall the ball out in front of the corner, but it's going to be Miller sending it back outside to that far side as we see Bluey kind of following past it, but it's Taco Stash. He's lying in wait, gets the pick, not quite over Chip, but he's going to be able to send it out. Miller up high, trying to keep this control, but I think
oh my gosh,
it seems like the player that he was going to send it to no longer on the map, and Chip just kind of flipping around, hoping to keep his wheels on the ground. Now he has to challenge Duckworth, going to hit Duckworth, but not the ball, and Slayer just not fast enough on that hit. We're going to be a really good lead. Is not going to hit, but Duckworth, ooh.
Bluey with that amazing save.
Yeah, and now on the drive, up into the corner, it's going to be Duckworth keeping it high, but Chip from the top rope, not enough to connect. And now Slayer, he's got some control. Indiana Tech, they were able to get Bluey back into the goal, but Taco Stash, he's now on it. He's not going to hit it, and it's going to be Duckworth into the open net. Another goal for Shawnee State, and that's now 5 unanswered from the side of Indiana Tech.
Yeah, and that has been great ball movement. There has not been a lot of hero ball from either team, but great job by Taco Stash setting up by Duckworth, and really on Indiana Tech's side, Bluey with back-to-back amazing saves, but still not enough. And after the first one, it just really felt like Bluey was like, fine, I'll do it myself, because they just need offense, and no one has shown up quite yet for them.
Yeah, we haven't seen a shot go in quite yet. With Taco Stash in control, I don't expect to see something soon. As I say that, though, ball going up high, actually getting sent back into the side of Indiana Tech. It's going to be Taco Stash sending it out to the side. Duckworth is going to go down, and that might hamper their offense, potentially make their defense a little bit weird. But Taco, he's down. Duckworth taking his place, sending it up high. Bluey going up and getting that control. But Duckworth stealing a potential boost to resurge as Taco now keeps it in the side of Indiana Tech.
And there's Slayer going after Miller, but Miller just absolutely making sure he's not on the map anymore.
Say Miller being Slayer's namesake, taking him out, but it's going to be that tip far back Chip able to get that control. Slayer now moving up, but Duckworth as well. Ball not quite in his possession. It's going to be it's going to be Taco Stash coming down on the side. He's going to be able to get the beat, and it looks like there's nobody in goal, but Chip at the very last moment able to get it and puts it down onto the other side. No goal looking for it quite yet. Is Taco Stash able to get that kill onto Bluey, keep things rolling around as, you know, game clock continues. 2:10 left of play.
Yeah, and with this game clock, what a save. But Indiana Tech, they need to score quickly if they want to make this competitive, because with 2 minutes left, that is forever in Rocket League time, but still just the amazing defense has not been allowing much on the side of Shawnee.
Yeah, I was going to say, going for that shot there, Taco Stash, I think a little bit too low, getting a little bit too much upward momentum on it as opposed to just straight out. But now Slayer, he's got control, and he's been a really good ball handler this game so far, but unfortunately dropping it, so will Taco Stash. That gives a potential opening to Indiana Tech. They drive into the corner. It's going to be Slayer, though, at the very last moment, able to take back that control, able to keep things rolling, and now a pop out into the middle. It's not going to be enough. Nobody there fast enough, and Indiana Tech now potentially able to rally back. 75 seconds left on the timer, and Duckworth able to get that kill. Gets bumped by his own team, but that flips him directly into this offensive push.
And that was such a good play, because I remember I played Rocket League, and I can't remember how many times where I've been trying to drive back like that to go to the goal, but because I was holding forward to try to protect my goal, the ball would go in when my teammate would hit it towards me. So just the recognition of knowing that the ball was coming towards him, and then just stopping to make sure that when it did come towards him, it wouldn't put it in. And oh my gosh, Taco Stash with the 2v1, still defensively stout right now.
Yeah, able to hold off offenses from multiple players, and Slayer now winning that 50, able to get the beat on Chip. Even though Chip gets the kill, the ball's still squarely in Indiana Tech's, and although Bluey able to move it around, 30 seconds left, and Indiana Tech needs something soon.
Yeah, Miller misses that one, and with 20 seconds left, I'm not gonna call it because I don't hear the fat lady singing quite yet, but this is a very tense moment for Indiana Tech. If they don't win this, they're going to be down 2-0. Or
yeah, they're going to be down 2-0. Miller and Taco Stash both able to get a little bit more connection. Bluey trying to go for the drive, but Duckworth stealing away. Taco Stash as well into the back corner. And unless Indiana Tech can do something massive here, which they're still able to keep it alive. Bluey now last man up. But Slayer, he's going to go for the kill. Bluey actually able to get past him. Duckworth now sending it back into the corner. This could be a little bit more contact.
yeah, still keeping it alive, and Taco Stash with the shot.
Oh, it's going to go into the ground right before it goes into the goal. But either way, Shawnee State now taking game number 2. Again, 5 unanswered shots so far from Shawnee State. Indiana Tech not having any response so far.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, it hasn't been just one player. It's been the whole team. Like Taco Stash, yes, he's the MVP. He only had 1 assist on 2 shots. Like, he has been playing very great defense. He has been just showing up and showing out, but just as much as Duckworth and Slayer are, because like they've been showing they want this.
Yeah.
And being up 2-0, it's a much easier time for you to win that than being down 0-2.
I mean, the main show so far is that it's a full team effort. It is not just one member that is carrying them through. Taco Stash, he may be the MVP of this league. He may be the person who got the accolades, but does not mean that he is the only good player that this team has. You get to this point by having a fully developed, fully fleshed out team. And that, continually is happening right now. We are seeing this full team come together and truly be, contenders.
Yeah, and one of the things is, like, I feel like Rocket League is one of the hardest teams to carry because, like, especially in a 3v3 setting, you could just keep the ball away from your best from the opposing team's best player, and that just kind of shuts them down, especially if they don't know how to just get it in position. Just like Taco Stash right now, getting it to position, almost scoring. But yeah, still just this team effort overall has been a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, and I think the most interesting thing about this so far is that Shawnee State are not content with just playing for keeps. They're not content with just getting their lead and then holding their own. They want to keep applying that pressure because, as soon as you let that pressure up, as soon as you allow for the other team to start to really get their own, game plan, game style in, you're instantly going to start losing out.
Yeah, that's when everything starts falling apart.
Yeah, so they're going to keep playing that offensive style. Taco Stash challenging into Bluey. Chip able to get something rolling at another level of touch, but Slayer just kills it in the corner. Does not allow for anyone else to really get something started until Bluey starts to send it into the goal, and it's going to be the first goal for Indiana Tech in this series. Sorely needed, and only a minute into this game number 3.
Yeah, and that's gotta feel good. Just after all the things that happened in the first 2 games, finally being up on the board and just with forced goal too. It's like Bluey really has felt like he's like, I need to do this myself, and I will. And he's been trying his best. He's been leaving everything out there.
Yeah, and Miller had an opportunity to get another, but Taco Stash showing off that MVP form, being the savior in the moment, but it is going to be Bluey. Pops it up. Miller as well. Taco Stash looking for something, but with no boost, he can't really do much of anything. And the Shawnee State, or the Indiana Tech players now really could get something started. But Slayer, he sends it out far. Now we'll need for Rat back for more boost. And at that time, it's going to allow for more of the players, especially from Indiana Tech, to start to swarm the ball and start to apply more pressure. It's Taco Stash up and high. He's going to be able to get it into the midfield, but nobody there. And that sends so far back into Shawnee State's own territory. Slayer still going to be able to get the beat, sends the ball far. It's going toward the goal. Duckworth with a little bit of an interception, but Slayer with another bounce. It's just going to be slightly outside, but Taco Stash, he's up. He hits the crossbar. No second touch. Duckworth with another punch, but nothing to be found. Taco Stash keeping the pressure on and live for Shawnee State. They need this not to take the lead, but to equalize, something that they have not had to do this entire series. And now it looks like they are just trying and missing.
Yeah, and it feels like there's just a hole. I mean, it just feels like there's just a lid on top of the goal right now. Everything that they're trying, despite their best efforts, not going in. And just Indiana Tech's defense, great play by Slayer, but still same thing. Indiana Tech's defense now just locking things up with the double demo. That's going to leave a wide open goal.
Yeah.
What a game plan.
I was going to say, with those 2 kills, you instantly recognize, especially with how far back the last player for Shawnee State, Slayer, was, you can just shoot that, and with the respawn times, nobody's going to be able to get to it. And that's Indiana Tech taking a 2-0 lead with about half the game clock taken down.
Yeah, and now as we continue, it looks like Indiana Tech is definitely going to force. This isn't going to be a sweep. Even though there is 2 minutes and 24 seconds, this just feels like all the momentum is going towards Indiana Tech's way. That's a crazy double commit, so it's going to be one left. Not going to get it, though.
Yeah, but Chip, being that man back in goal, he's been very, very good on this defense so far, especially in the games that I've seen from him. I was going to say, it looks like he's playing incredibly well, but it is going to be the back and forth.
Especially after the first 2 games, it really feels like he's playing with a chip on his shoulder.
I mean, yeah, it truly does, and it kind of looks like it too. But, however, the ball's going to stay in that corner. Shawnee State now really looking to just get it out of there. But it's going to be the demo Chip going down. But still, Miller actually holding this control, playing it close, trying to just slam dunk it in. But Slayer, he's able to get it out, but it's not going to be enough.
What a response, too, being held for so long in the first 2 games, and now responding with 3 in the 3rd game, while holding them to 0.
Yeah. It's the response that you want to see for a team that was down, but the main issue with it is just, can this be conserved and brought into the next? Is it just going to be a one-game wonder, or are we actually going to see more of this total, you know, showing from Indiana Tech?
Yeah, you got to save some of these goals for the next couple of games, because, like you said, we don't know if this is the last gasp or if this is the start of something new.
Yeah, if it's a resurgence, it's great. If it's a final pushout, it is concerning, because final pushouts are known to just burn out. Chip keeping that control of the ball high. Miller is going to be actually able to get another touch, but Duckworth with a great save in the back end. But Miller taking down Duckworth now. What could have been a very good opening, unfortunately, is not going to come through. Taco Shark able to keep things together and keep it rolling for the side of Shawnee State.
Yeah, and I think that's been the biggest difference between the last 2 games and this one. We have not been saying Taco Stash often. That's because he has not been seeing the ball often. He's really keeping it away from him. And that has been proven to be major.
Yeah, and when we talk about full teams being very big, being very important, as Taco Stash, they're just whiffing on what could have been a very crucial 50-50.
Yeah, tried going for the read on the 50-50. Not going to get it, though. But Taco Stash stealing that one, that's a miss, but that's going to be Slayer up in the middle, but that is going to be intercepted, just to be intercepted again. No full control from either team.
Yeah, it's really back and forth now. There is no player that is really, or player or team that really is taking that control. This is going to be Slayer back in the goal. 10 seconds left, though. This is a bygone conclusion. It is going to be Indiana Tech taking a game, forcing us to at least a game 5 here in the GLEC Grand Finals here for Rocket League. As that ball gets killed, Indiana Tech takes their first game. Now 1-2 scoreline. Shawnee State still leads, but Indiana Tech, they've shown they've got life in them.
Yeah, and it feels like, at least watching this team, Indiana Tech is the only team that I've seen that actively kill the ball. Like, they will let the ball hit the ground. They do not care about the extra scoring. They just want to get it over and done with. And now the score being 2-1, Indiana Tech, they can come back for this. This has been doable. We've seen this before. But it's just, you got to keep playing the way you are. You can't be just happy with one.
Yeah, and I think the main thing looking at this stat line, really looking to highlight something, is all 7 of Shawnee State's shots saved. Chip getting 5, essentially equalizing Slayer completely, and Bluey equalizing Duckworth. Obviously Miller, no saves required, and for Taco, no shots given.
Yeah, and like, that has been a huge thing. Like, out of the 3 shots, none of them have been saves for Taco, and it really looks like you need Taco Stash to score to win. And if you shut him down, well, if you shut a whole team down, nobody scores.
Exactly.
But if you shut him down, if you shut down his passing lanes, if you just make him feel uncomfortable, that's really been the difference maker between that game and the other 2.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about it being very hard for a single player to carry in a mode like Rocket League. And while that is to a certain extent true,
but you also need that single player to do great with the rest of your team.
I was about to say, if you're able to keep that single player shut down, there isn't much else that they can really do. And especially if they are a key player for that team, there's nothing left. But it is going to be Chip driving one in. First 15 seconds of the round, Indiana Tech already got a goal on the board. And I'm starting to think that wasn't a late game last breath. It is a true comeback
and that has been 4 unanswered. Just like the same way Shawnee did them, they're doing right back.
Yeah, not allowing Shawnee to get anything and applying the pressure in spades. It's exactly what you'd like to see from the side of Indiana Tech, especially if you're a fan.
Yeah, now here comes the hard commit, getting a pass just to get it back. But guess who's going to be up there for the light pass?
It is going to be Taco keeping this pressure. Slayer now trying to get it out of their goal. Chip just going to be able to beat it, slightly get this control, but it's really going to come on to Miller, and Miller, he gets demoed, but he gets it out of there. Bluey playing up high, but Duckworth now shooting into the goal. Taco Stash really trying to get something going there, but nothing to be found.
Yeah, and then going straight towards Duckworth. Duckworth just missing off of the second hit. No. Taco Stash, no. And then going for the third, but Miller with the block.
Yeah, 6 men in goal. Taco Stash, he's able to get the ball out of there at the last possible moment. I think if he let it go a little bit longer, Indiana Tech player would have come up behind and kept it on its intended route.
Yeah, but still, just like, there has been great defense, not an open goal there, but would have been a great opportunity for Indiana Tech. And Indiana Tech, obviously, they were down. They were down 0-2 in this, but just clawing back, showing life, not willing to give up. These are words to describe how this team has felt like they have been doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to keep a lot of pressure, and I think the main thing right now is that they're able to keep a lot of very good economy on their boost, able to control a lot of full pads, a lot of small pads, and just constantly make sure that their players have the movement, whereas Shawnee State, you know, they're kind of, especially beforehand, they were lacking. As I say that, Taco Stash proving the moment-to-moment decision-making that is necessary for a player like this. Duckworth sending the ball in, and he just says, well, I'll take out the only defender.
Yeah, Taco Stash, once again, just such a smart player in Duckworth. Also a great player to recognize that and just have it go straight in instead of trying to go for a pass.
Yeah, and this is the first game that we have seen where both teams have points on the board. It's going to be the shot from Taco that gets blocked out by Chip. What could be a drive down the side is actually going to be a miss from Chip. Miller able to pick it up there, but lets Slayer get that control, sends it straight into Bluey. Bluey now off the side in the air, following the ball as he may like. It's going to be a miss from a lot of people, but Duckworth able to keep the control back. Miller sends it into the corner. Bluey trying to follow up, and he will. Sends it deep up high, a little too much. Taco Stash with maybe a little bit of contact, but Chip gets a little bit more. And now back into the side of Indiana Tech. It is Miller following that, but the pop-up is going to be combo. Duckworth sends it down, and it's going to be Miller keeping this safe. Slayer moving around, but it's going to be the combination. A little too high for Indiana Tech. You must be this tall to ride the ride, and unfortunately, they just came up a few inches short.
Yeah, Miller just being a bit too Miller light on that one. And Chip and Bluey, just power of friendship on that one, but not being able to get it in, hitting the bottom of the top of the goalpost, and that is going to be a lead for Shawnee State. And in 2 minutes, if they're able to hold this lead, they will be up 3-1.
Yeah, they'll be on series point, championship point, but still a minute 50 left to play. There is still time to bring it back, especially for Indiana Tech. It is going to be the first kill. Bluey is going to be down. Chip, no boost, but Miller up high, able to keep that control, but it's going to be Taco Stash. Saves by Bluey, and it's going to be the drive down the left side of the field. Bluey with a lot of control. Duckworth looking to steal some boost. Will do. Chip sending it back into Miller. Nothing to be found. Slayer trying and missing the Duckworth into the corner. A little bit of a hit from Bluey. Slayer now trying to get down. Taco Stash getting that hit as soon as he gets demolished. But Duckworth sends it up high. It's going to drop a little bit later than the goal. But another demo, another aggression could keep things rolling.
Yeah, and they have been keeping these rolling. Just these demolitions preventing either of these teams from building momentum. But as I say that, Chip able to tie it up with 1:01 left.
Sometimes you don't need momentum. Sometimes you can just create your own. And Chip finding the opening. Duckworth just dropping the handling on the ball, and it's exactly what he needed. As you said, 2-2 minute left on the clock. It is any man's game, do or die.
Yeah, this is go time. 1 minute left. Duckworth sends it straight to the goal. Miller with the defense, not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, just able to keep the control of the ball, and it's going to be Chip who sends it out far. Miller trying something. It sends it back into the front of the net, but nobody there to find it. It's Chip on the other side. Nothing to be seen.
Yeah, and now great pass off the wall. Duckworth not able to get there, and now Slayer resetting it himself. It looks like that he's going to go for the high, but Chip just immediately reminded me of that scene from Cars where just like Lightning McQueen just like stood at the same level for a bit before driving off. Chip doing the exact same thing, but also not only driving off to show off that he's faster, but also stealing the ball along with it.
Yeah, Miller and Duckworth, though, they traded, and that actually keeps Miller back in here with 9 seconds left. I think OT might be a foregone conclusion that we are going to it. It is going to be Bluey sending the ball out, but Slayer sends it back. Miller and Bluey getting it up and high. Taco Stash sending it back. Nobody there, but Duckworth had no shot to be found. It is going to be overtime for the first time in this series.
Yeah, and Slayer going to win that one, but heading straight over to the basket. Blocked by Duckworth. Now Taco Stash, it goes over him, and that's going to be the overtime goal. Now a 2-2 series when it started 0-2.
Yeah, Miller being able to bring that back, equalize the numbers, and bring Indiana Tech back into this series, back into this set, and closer to the championship.
Yeah, and that's just the adversity that they've been going against. Like we said, both of these teams have suffered losses, but now this is the first time either of these teams have lost 2 matches or 2 games.
Especially in the same series.
Yep.
And if there was a stat to highlight here in the moment, it is going to be that offensive shots number coming out from Shawnee State. It's going to be a combined 9, of which 7 got saved. As for Shawnee State, or as for Indiana Tech, it's a combined 7. But that results in their win. It results in a W. And again, it's what we talked about. It's that aggression. Needless aggression is not going to get you anywhere. Pressured aggression, ones that are put in the correct position, is exactly what's going to win you this. And again, like you were saying, Taco Stash is getting shut down.
Yeah, and just like... You can't win MVP just by scoring. So he has shown the playmaking, he has shown the defense, but he needs to do more. And just like when his team doesn't have him doing more, this is what happens. Yes, those were close games, but those close games ended up in losses. You need wins. You need Taco Stash to show up, or you need someone else to step up even more. You need Slayer. You need Duckworth to be like, you know what?
It's my turn.
Yeah, it's my turn. This is the biggest stage. We don't want to go home. If you can't show up, if they're shutting you down, I'm showing up and showing out.
Yep.
Taco Stash missing that early goal, though, and now it's going to be back on defense.
Yeah, it really could have been messy there with 3 players from Shawnee all committing into the goal of Indiana Tech, but they're just able to get it out. Bluey, no boost, not enough to at least not enough to get up, so he is going to have to dip back, grab his ball, and keep things moving.
Yeah, trying to take his ball and go home. Taco Stash off the wall, fakes, commits, but is going to miss that one, so that is not going to be a goal. Taco Stash missing that one. I believe the first one was a fake to try to destroy the car that was in front of the goal, but still, that is going to be 0-0, and Chip just really bringing on the pressure.
Yeah, I was going to say they're able to apply so much of it here, especially just relentlessly keeping the ball in the Shawnee State goal line. And even when those boosts are coming up, they're not allowing Shawnee State to get a ton. They are just continually cycling and letting their players drop back. Hey, they have a 3rd man ready, but those first 2, the ones that are up in your face, are applying so much pressure that it's very hard to fully break out. As I say that, Taco Stash, he runs out of boost mid-air and drops the ball straight into Miller. Miller able to get it out, but Duckworth and Slayer combine the left to right, gets it into the net.
Yeah, the alley-oop play. Duckworth going off the wall and destroying the defender, and Miller just a bit late. And now that is 1-0 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, long time to play. Indiana Tech can easily bring this back if they wish. but it's going to require them to start doing some movement, and it needs to start soon. Chip starting to get the ball over, but Duckworth has a little bit of control. Bluey now on the charge. Slayer going up high, gets the contact, drops it, but Taco Stash not going to bring it in. Miller.
And Bluey playing that phenomenally as well, making sure Taco Stash can't get it, but can't prevent that one, and that's going to be a 2-0.
Yeah, I was going to say, good power control by Shawnee State, putting exactly where they wanted. Duckworth sending it out. Taco Stash just from left field, bringing it downtown. The hammer getting dropped. Shawnee State up 2-0. 3 minutes remaining in this match. As we move into the kickoff, it's going to be the fast play. Indiana Tech still applying pressure, still fighting, but Slayer and Taco Stash, they're in the enemy lines. Duckworth taking Slayer's spot, bringing it in, hitting it down across the line. Taco Stash has to go back for the boost. In the air, will contest, but not connect. Duckworth keeps things rolling.
So the double contest was a very interesting play that could have really backfired, but now Indiana Tech trying to cause mayhem, trying to put pressure, getting it over, but not enough. Great defense by Duckworth. And Slayer, even with no boost, was able to get the ball that far.
Yep, he was able to apply a lot more pressure, and Taco Slash able to keep things for Shawnee State looking green and golden. Keeping it moving along as we see Chip getting the first pick onto Taco Stash, but it's going to be Duckworth who actually intercepts the ball and sends it a little bit back into his home at territory as Taco Stash keeps it moving, keeps it rolling, trying to find something.
Yeah, and Bluey using up all his boost, and that, guess who's there? Duckworth able to interrupt. And now off the wall, Duckworth not going to make it because Taco Stash missed the pass afterwards. Slayer trying to go for this double tap himself, not going to get it. But now with the minute 38, this has to be do or die time for Indiana Tech. You don't want to go down 3-2.
Yeah, but I mean, we need to see a lot more pressure coming out from them, and that's one thing that it's just we have not quite seen just yet. We saw it in those 2 games, but this game, it has been all but absent. Duckworth sends it up and high. It's going to be the connection coming out from Bluey, but Slayer gets it back into the midfield. Miller with a little bit of control. Duckworth, though, sends it kind of back into its own position. CL looking to go for something, but Duckworth keeps it good.
Just I would, people at home, if you take a drink of water every time I say that. This defense has been stout because just absolutely stifling, not allowing anything. And Chip with an amazing play over Taco Stash, but still the rotation, this defense has not been allowing anything from both sides as I look at that. But that's an open neck with 35 seconds left. That is going to be it, but now 34 seconds. Indiana Tech needs 1. Shawnee State needs to hold on for the essential next best 2 out of 3.
Yep. Chip able to bring it, forward and able to bring the hammer down, but it is Indiana Tech at the last moment in their dying breath keeps it alive.
Yep.
Brings it further.
And they have to keep it alive here. And Taco Stash challenging that one because Chip immediately trying to go for the response, and just they got to play this off. They got to play their best. Taco Stash sending it to the goal again, but guess who's there? Chip. It feels like Chip and Taco Stash have just been negating each other, but the rest of the team has just been picking up the slack for each other. 3 seconds left near the goal, not going to get it though.
Yeah, Indiana Tech could have had that massive goal, but unfortunately there's going to be nothing to be found. The goal is going to die, and Shawnee State moves to championship point.
Yep, and this is now, if it's Indiana Tech, gotta win 2-0.
Yep.
If you are Shawnee State, just 1 more. 1 more to go to, what is it, CECC?
CECC, May Madness. Again,
Yep.
a massive collection of a ton of different colleges from all walks of the esports world coming together for one single tournament. And again, when we're looking at it, Shawnee State, 9 shots. Though Taco Stash only finding 1, Slayer finding the other. It's a lot of assists coming out of Duckworth and a good amount of saves beyond that. Looking down to Indiana Tech, Again, shots and saves just lacking behind that of Shawnee State. And this is the Shawnee State we talked about the first 2 games, having a dominant offense that resulted in wins.
Yeah, and just like you could have an amazing offense, but offense wins games, defense wins championships.
It truly does.
And for this one, it feels like the other way around because these defenses, I mean, just to play Rocket League, you have to have great defense first before having an offense, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because if you could keep it out of the opponent's goal, that's more time for you to try to score on them. But it just seems the other way. Like, defense wins games, but offense, getting that one goal, as long as your score is larger than the other opponent by 1, that's all that matters. And that has been really the difference maker. Just when it comes, or when the time comes, Shawnee State's team has been able to get that one goal better than Indiana Tech.
Yeah, their defense is much more, or their offense is much more explosive than Indiana Tech's. I feel like Indiana's, it like rolls in, and then once they start feeling it, they start feeling it. But for Shawnee State, it could be a rogue shot from Taco Stash from way downtown, playing it off of the air, and just able to give Shawnee State this early lead.
Yeah, and that was a great contest. That was a great contest because even if that was saved, Slayer was right there for the second bump to try to make sure that it stayed in. Now that's an amazing setup, but that's not going to be any boost except for Duckworth, and that's going to go in. What an opening play by Shawnee State to give them the 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
You could not convince me that wasn't drawn up.
No, I was going to say that play right there, looking picturesque, textbook even. And 30 seconds into this game, Shawnee State taking a dominant statement 2-0. They know what's at stake at this point.
That was beautiful. I want that in the Museum of Art.
That was beautiful. This, a little bit less than a 4-man pileup on that midpoint on kickoff, but Slayer able to send it out. Duckworth bouncing it on the ground. It's not quite going to get in. Chip with the save, and Taco Slash trying to repeat the first goal, but will not. Slayer, though, applies his pressure, keeps his movement rolling. He gets the ball back far away. It's going to be a save from Miller in the goal, but Duckworth still with control. Chip sending it back out. And Indiana Tech, they are fighting for their lives. They may have gotten 2 scored on them, but they say no more.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines of Rocket League is down by 2, because you know what that means. That's time where they start selling. And Bluey with the save, but Duckworth making it more than down by 2. This might be the reality. Shawnee State up 3-0 with 3 minutes 38 seconds left. They might be heading to CECC. Indiana Tech wanting to not give it to them.
Yeah, and that's a Duckworth playing off of his own positioning, understanding that even if the shot is good, even if it looks like it is lined up properly, the job isn't over until that ball is in the net. Taco Stash, although he's taken down, we've seen these other players throw up a fight, and Taco Stash, he's back, and he's on the lurk. He's on the prowl, looking for something massive. It's going to be Bluey trying to get it in, will not be able to find it, not enough control. Miller trying to go for it, Chip not quite high enough, and that's Taco Slash sending it into the corner, out towards the middle. Bluey with the touch, but Slayer, oh, just enough. It's a crossbar tap, but it allows Miller to get that ball control back, take it up from the height, bringing down the hammer, and it's gonna not be a shot. Slayer at the last second.
Yeah, and talking about that team effort, Miller won that 1v1 against the MVP, but Slasher coming from the corner, essentially saving his team, and that could have been a 3-1, but now it's 3-0 with time ticking, favoring Shawnee State every tick away.
Yep. It's going to have to be massive from Indiana Tech. 2.5 on the clock. Taco Stash still in the middle with a little bit of control. Faking a hit, getting Bluey to waste a lot, but Duckworth now with that control, playing up high into Chip. Will send it down, get it past Miller. Bluey, last man back, brings it around the corner, looking to stop it. Slayer actually trying for something, but nothing to be found. Duckworth sending it into the corner. And now it's going to be Miller going up. Taco Slash trying to play it as well. Miller waiting for the ball, seeing what the other team will do. We're going to play a little bit more reactive. Is Bluey now on the hunt. Slayer keeps it moving. Taco Stash from up top sends it around. And Miller, he's rotating in the goal, but Slayer is able to keep it moving.
Yeah, and just like, I think one of the biggest things has been when these teams score, I mean, when Shawnee scores, it's off of team play. It's off of assists. Indiana Tech, when they score, it's just sometimes one of their players just going like, you know what? We need a score. I got this.
I was going to say, it's a philosophy, team versus individuals. What is going to be better? And right now, we're seeing the full team play from Shawnee State on display. Duckworth going down, but I don't think it's going to matter that much as Taco Stash sends it out. Now following the ball, trying to keep up the pressure. Miller getting that defense, but he's going to send it straight into Slayer. Slayer over the top, back into the other corner as Taco Slash now ready. Sends it up high. It's going to bounce back down. Duckworth in a right position, but Miller also in the right position, sends it back up into Bluey. Bluey trying to play high. Taco Slash killing the momentum, sending it back into Chip. Slayer, nothing to be found, and it's going to be the shot from Bluey. Chip with the assist. 1 goal now, 56 seconds on the clock, and Indiana Tech, although it's doable, it's not looking pretty.
Yeah, if you're Indiana Tech, you got to look at it like this. This can be the last 56 seconds of your season. You got to leave everything on the line. You are down by 2. That is doable with this time, but you have to do it quickly.
Especially with that early kill, it's going to be Miller up top in the corner, going to be getting it driven high. Taco Slash with the last second save, and Duckworth sends it back over into the middle. Taco Slash not quite going to get the connection early, but he is going to be able to start moving it around. Miller up high, gets it out of Slayer's control, but into Taco Slash. Chip gets a hit back into the corner. Bluey trying to play around the movement, going to send it straight down, but Slayer taking that around. Chip in the back line trying to move and groove. Bluey up top, up to Miller. Miller sends it down. Miller with the shot. It's now a 1-goal difference. 22 seconds left on the clock in Indiana Tech. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to believe.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe that this might be going the distance, but they have to start with sending it to overtime. 22 seconds. Indiana Tech showing not only life, but resiliency. They have to win this to continue on their playoff life.
Yeah, Blue with the early control, but Slayer able to take it back out. Chip now with the save, sends it back into the corner. Miller sending it pop up and high. Bluey is going to be there, get the control, but with 9 seconds left, it needs to be something, and it needs to be fast. Chip up onto the side, going to be driving the ball. Slayer gets the kill, sends it back, and this might be it. Miller with the tap, sends it up, but there's nobody there. There's no one there. And Shawnee State able to hold together, able to bring it to the end, and that is going to be your GLEC Great Lakes Esports Conference.
And it
Spring 2024-25.
It came down to essentially the last play of game 6, I believe.
6.
Yeah, just right when it came to that contest. And they had the right look, like you said. That was a great setup right down the middle, but just that bump in the air. Once again, I believe Miller had the best chance at it, but got bumped in the air, had to try to adjust. Not enough.
Yeah, not quite enough. And as the team poses, you know, as we see that trophy lift coming through here pretty soon.
As it sees, it's your new GLEC champions for Rocket League, Shawnee State.
Yeah, hoisting that trophy high, and they know what they've done. Not only have they won this competition, but again, as we've been setting up this entire time, this is not the end for this team. They've got Texas to go to.
Yep.
And show what that Great Lakes region can show. As we take a look at our bracket, obviously those decider matches taking place tomorrow, which we'll preview later, but Shawnee State taking Indiana Tech down 4-2, the 1 seed, proving why they were the 1 seed coming into this grand finals and taking it all.
Yeah, and just showing showing resiliency in the face of adversity, going against Indiana Wesleyan, who lost a game but took all 4. Went up against Mountain Union.
Same story.
Thing. But finally, when it came to the big dog, the one that upset the 2nd seed to get here, put everything on the line. Indiana Tech, they didn't back down. They showed heart, they showed grit, they showed fight, but they came up short.
Yeah. And that, at least for us, is going to be where it ends. I was going to say, you can catch us more later. We're definitely going to be on the Smash broadcast. I mean, let's be honest.
For sure.
It's our thing.
If you've seen a Smash stream in GLEC, you've probably seen us.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I know we've got 2 great semifinals matches. I believe the first one has started already. Second one is going to be going is going to be getting underway later tonight. I think we're going to be on the call for that one.
Sure will.
But if you want to stick around here, we're going to be starting the Overwatch 2 segment of your GLEC Spring 2025 bracket. If we want to pull...
I was going to say, are we able to look at the bracket for that one?
I was going to say, if we can get
We
that
sure
pulled
are.
up here, look at
We
like
love
that.
production. Thank you, production.
I was going to say Manchester, Shawnee, Albion, Olivet, Nazaré are going to be your preliminary matches. Other than that, winner of Manchester, Shawnee going on to Illinois Wesleyan, winner of Albion, Ovet going into CSU. Tiffin St. Xavier also clashing along with Indiana Tech and Ohio Northern. It's going to be a long day full of great matches, setting up for a great set of finals here. But at least for us, that's going to be all.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in for Rocket League Grands, and congrats to Shawnee State. And once again, my name is El Tiburon.
It's been a great time calling for y'all. My name is Air, and we'll catch you guys around
Soon.